having that understanding between a man and a woman, it doesn't have to be a man and a woman, whatever human
I
beings
mean,
happen.
for the purpose of this, just man and woman.
Yeah. Having that understanding is a foundation. Now, what's really interesting, and I've never mentioned their names, but quite a few very prominent female sexologists, when I proposed my model for this, because there's more to that model than I just said, it was interesting what they said. And basically I said, so, we've got this model where the man is willing to give the woman a massage for the sake of just helping her feel good. Even if he's physically horny, he's not going to do anything with her unless she asks. That's if she wants, that's fine. But if the agreement was it's just a massage, and the women are like, that's awesome. That's, yeah, guys aren't going to do that, but that's awesome. And I said, well, okay, let's say the guy does agree to that. Now, the flip side of that coin is if a man comes in and the woman can tell that he's physically, sexually frustrated, would she be willing to give him a sexual massage or have intercourse? Or if she's not interested in it, just give him a sexual, just to get him off for the sake of helping him relax. Every single female sexologist I talked to would like, no, I'm not gonna be that kind of woman. And I'm like, no, whoa. You're saying you're a sexually liberated woman that has, you're totally comfortable with your body and your sexuality. So why would you not be okay with that as the other side of the coin? You're doing this for your partner just for massage, or the guy might just want a massage and not want sex. Maybe that's the case. But the other side isn't. And I think the big reason for that gets back to, again, I'm always a broken record about what our childhood conditioning was. They had a set of stories and rules of what defines a proper woman, and a proper woman wouldn't do that. And I'm like, well, why? Because it is a physical process. I've known a lot of sex workers and surrogates, and it is a form of massage. Sexuality in just about every aspect is just an extension of massage. So how is it different? And they took issue with it. And but that is, to me, the best state you can get to, where you are honestly caring for your partner and noticing, are they physically stressed or are they sexually stressed, and you take care of their needs. There's a word, I'm going to probably brutalize it, called mudita in Hindi or maybe Sanskrit. And it's a word that describes the feeling of love for a friend or a partner or a child, where you are happy just for them being happy. It's like a,
that's beautiful. I mean, I think for me that's really when I think about the idea of responsibility for our partner, it's very much that description. And in my head, my very bad mechanical mind when it comes to motors and things like that, I always like to sort of have this idea that when people come together as a couple, you're both two batteries feeding into an alternator. Now, the idea is that if both people within the couple are full, that alternator is really not under very much stress. They're both starting and igniting it. It feeds into it, keeps on feeding back into the batteries, and it keeps that beautiful sustenance that's going back into the relationship. But I always play with this idea that if all of a sudden one of the batteries is completely depleted and now reliant on just the one to be the charge for that, and I don't know if most people don't know this, but if you leave a battery depleted for far too long, you can't recharge that, right? So it's this kind of idea of, we have a responsibility to each other to maintain that fullness and abundance. And this is a concept that I always speak about in terms of facilitating each other's freedom. So for me facilitating my partner's freedom allows her that space to be abundant and be able to come back into that and be that battery that keeps on feeding into this whole system and keeps us alive. And that's where my responsibility is, to ensure that her pleasure is reached all the time, and equally hers mine. So I think your point is spectacular.